It is a big day for a select group of exceptional Canadians whose names will soon join a star-studded lineup on Canada's Walk of Fame. The latest inductees have just been announced this morning. And here to tell us all about it is the CEO of Canada's Walk of Fame, Latimer. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
This is a big year, 20 years. Unbelievable. How many Canadians have we honored in the past 2 decades?
173 have been honored in 19 years, and this year we have 10 more people, 8 more inductee sections. So,
how have the awards and these honors changed since 1998?
Well, I think the biggest change, or the biggest thing that we're trying to do, is raise the platform so that it's not just about fame. I think in the first years, Peter Somalius, Gary Slate, Michael Cole, the people that were involved at the beginning, they had the idea to celebrate fame, celebrate people that have become successful and famous people. A lot of Hollywood stars, a lot of hockey stars, and it was great.
Looks like, is that Brian Adams?
Brian Adams. Michael Bublé, lots of great Canadians. But what I think our goal for the future in the next 20 years is to tell the stories behind fame, to let some of these people that have become successful around the world elevate others, raise the platform for someone like Dr. Joanne Liu, who's, you know, out there in the world as doctor,
She's one of the inductees for this year.
Doctors Without Borders, one of the inductees for this year, being able to celebrate her along with someone like Seth Rogen. And the beauty of Seth Rogen for this year is it's not about him, it's about him and his partner. He has for years written with Evan Goldberg, and they are Hollywood's loved writing partners that started in Vancouver years ago. So as opposed to just saying the famous guy in front of the camera, let's celebrate the genius of the two of them together and what a partnership is. Another great one for this year is Jimmy Pattison. What I love about Jimmy is that he's an entrepreneur, and he has 44,000 employees today. He's a billionaire, but let's tell the story of what made him $100,000 or a millionaire. What can Canadians learn from him when he was a kid or a teenager that can help them achieve? And so our stories become about the road to success, the road to achievement.
I like that.
And that's what's so important. And, you know, we're coming back to CTV this year, which is very exciting.
Very exciting.
And Randy Lennox, who has been on the board for 14 years, who brought the show to CTV as the head of Universal, now the head of Bell Media, he's brought the show back to CTV, and we want to tell more of those stories on the 20th anniversary and for the next 20 years.
We love to celebrate our country, and we do a really good job of it here at CTV, if I do say so ourselves. Speaking of road to success and pathways, you know, if you've ever been to the city of Toronto, if you're visiting or if you live here, you know, we see the stars. You know, you're going to get your Tim Hortons or coming out of a restaurant, and there they are. But there's talk of actually moving some of those stars and making them a little more prominent, a little more special.
So when you see them and you come out of your coffee shop and you walk along the street, you may bump into it and go, oh, wow, that's cool. What's that? We want it to be that that's not the case. We want it to be a destination. The corner of King and John becomes that place, like a monument, like when you go to Mann's Chinese Theater, and there's handprints perhaps.
Yes.
And there's stories that are told. And then from there you can walk the path and you can see this person and that person, and you can get excited by it. You know, when you go to the back of the Air Canada magazine, one of our great partners, Air Canada, and they have the lines that go to where all the destinations are.
Yeah.
So one of the things we're doing, which I'm really excited about, is from the location in Toronto, when you get your star here, you also get it in your hometown. So you'll go to the hometown of Stompin' Tom Connors in PEI, or Viola Desmond in Halifax, or David Suzuki in Vancouver, and you get your star there. So we're trying to make it a national platform.
Speaking of the stars, we should give the full list of people who are inductees for this year. Do we have some of them? We showed them earlier. So Chris Hadfield's there. Andrea Martin, one of my favorites.
Yeah, who became a Canadian citizen last year, 18 years in Toronto, and now she's a citizen. Andy Kim, 50 years. He wrote Sugar Sugar and Rock Me Gently. Chris Hadfield, first Canadian to walk in space. Unbelievable man. Leonard Cohen, of course. And we talked about the other two. And then Tessa and Scott.
Yeah.
Like, not only are great friends, and I love them, but they're being celebrated this year, right when they get off the ice, as opposed to 10 years from now when
Amazing year for them.
You know, so it's a really exciting time for Walk of Fame.
Speaking of people, you know, who are getting it now versus much later in their career, Leonard Cohen was a bit of a surprise. I'm surprised he didn't have one already.
Leonard, I talked to his manager, who said, I didn't want to get a star because I didn't want to be known for being famous. So I said to his manager last year, I want to induct Leonard. We want to induct Leonard. Let's tell the stories of struggle, of his road to success. And he was the one, Leonard's manager, a great man, Robert Corey, who said to me, Leonard wants young Canadians to know about the road that he took, not when he became famous. So that's going to be a great induction. We're going to have an incredible moment on stage with all these performers singing a tribute song to Leonard.
Jeffrey, I don't know if you will answer this or not, but is there any politics involved in where you place the stars? Like whose star goes where and beside who?
No politics.
Really?
No politics at all.
None that you'll tell me about?
None whatsoever. So,
It's great to have you here. And of
thank
course,
you.
to celebrate the 20th year of Canada's Walk of Fame, you can tune into E-Talk tonight at 7 o'clock for much more information on that. Thanks, Jeffrey.
Thank you for having me.